Riding with the same friends for a few years, you start to pick up some of their traits and mannerisms, and they in turn will pick up some of your traits and mannerisms as well. Now, this isn't always a bad thing. Some of the guys that I ride with pretty regularly have had a tremendous impact on my spiritual growth and on my faith. And for that, I am deeply grateful. But I know I still have a long way to go, but I'm on the right path. Now, if I found myself riding with a different group of men, perhaps less involved in their faith, if involved at all, then I might find myself slipping in the work that has been started in me. Now, does this mean that I refuse to ride with someone who is not a Christian? Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, my motorcycle has become one of my greatest evangelism tools. It opens a door to conversations I may never get an opportunity to have otherwise. I came across this quote, and I think it fits very well with the message I hope to convey in this devotion. The challenge of the Christian is to be insulated, not isolated, walking in the midst of evil, but untouched by it. We, as Christians, must be aware of the differences between separating ourselves from the world and isolating ourselves from the world. Separation is when we remove ourselves, but our influence still remains. Isolation, on the other hand, is the removal of both ourselves and our influence. If we exist in isolation, then we are incapable of spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ. So we are faced with an important question. It's not about who we look like to the rest of the world. It is simply a matter of this: who do I want to look like? Therefore, go out from their midst and be separate from them, says the Lord. We should be separate because we have nothing in common, because we are not like them, because we are different. We should come out from them and be separate. Just remember, that does not mean that we isolate ourselves from those around us. The reflection that we show should be that of Christ in our words and in our actions. And to put on the new self, created after the likeness of God in true righteousness and holiness. We can't be two different people. We must strive for holiness. The new self is new because it has been created in the likeness of God. In the Greek, that literally translates as according to what God is. This powerful statement reveals to us the wondrous reality of salvation. Those who confess Jesus Christ as Lord are made like God. Peter tells us this: by which he has granted to us his precious and very great promises, so that through them you may become partakers of the divine nature, having escaped from the corruption that is in the world because of sinful desire. C.S. Lewis once said that God became man to turn creatures into sons, not simply to produce better men of the old kind, but to produce a new kind of man. What are the distinguishing characteristics of our lives? We don't take off the old to meet some requirement, and we don't put on the new to satisfy a commandment. The old self isn't replaced with the new self so that we can become different. It happens because we are different. We should find ourselves striving for righteousness and holiness each and every day. Righteousness means that we are rightly related to those around us. We see them and we treat them with the respect and dignity that all of God's creatures deserve. Instead of using each other selfishly, we love one another selflessly. When it comes to holiness, when we are saved by grace through faith, we are made holy, rightly related to God. This holiness that we experience first and foremost comes as a direct gift from God. Every day we have to fight the urge to conform to the face of the world that we were saved out of, resist the temptation to fall back into the life that we lived before Christ. Part of that process means that we have to question who we look to, who we hold up, and who we try to imitate. Who do we look like? Are we a reflection of Christ, or are we a reflection of the world? We can't live with one foot in the world and one foot in the Word. We have to make a choice. Be imitators of God, therefore, as dearly loved children, and live a life of love, just as Christ loved us and gave himself up for us as a fragrant offering and sacrifice for God.